Hi FDG, I'm here with Vrettis.
Hi FDG.
Who just presented the paper Prometheas, a system for promoting prosocial behavior in online multiplayer games.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Can you quickly describe what is the Prometheas system and how does it encourage positive player interactions?
Yeah, so our idea was to make sure that we have a way for people to be encouraged in the game to be prosocial. Because usually games don't do this. They just tell you what not to do. They have their code of conduct and everything, and they tell you, these are negative interactions, you're going to be banned, whatever. But they never tell you, we want you to have fun. We want you to play with others. We want you to engage with others, encourage others, help others, share stuff with others. So we wanted to integrate this with many games. And we wanted to also prove that this was possible. And we found out that it was already a thing that existed in games. Like these actions, this prosocial behavior, games are ready for this. They're perfect frameworks for prosocial interactions, right? Because they're social. But they don't encourage it. So our system is meant to encourage this by using a ranking system where you get points for being prosocial, and you get ranks as you get up with more points. And you get some rewards which are theoretical for now because it's a study.
Right.
And one cool thing about this is we leverage self-reflection, which in theory should help you adopt new behaviors. What that means is after each match, you can see, hey, this is what I did prosocially, and here's what else I could have done prosocially. So you can learn from what you did and also learn new stuff to do in the next match to improve.
Yeah, and you tested this in 2 sessions.
Yes.
Can you describe a little bit the difference between the 2 sessions?
So in the first session, we don't tell the player anything. So the participant doesn't know exactly what kind of study it is. They know it has to do with social behavior in games. But all they do in the first session is they pick the game that they already have installed on their PCs. They play the session. We're recording over Discord because it was done over Discord because it was easy. And we just record the session. So we tell them, if it's Overwatch, play 2 games, because that's like 20-25 minutes in length. If it's Rainbow Six Siege, similar. If it's Helldivers, the matches are super long, so it's like 60 minutes sometimes, so it's just 1. So they just play the game that they would be normally playing anyway, without knowing anything.
Yeah.
And what we do after this, after we close the study, we take a video, that video that we just recorded, and we extract the prosocial actions that they performed manually. So we do this manually because doing this with the system would take too long. And then we move on to the second session.
Yeah.
The second session is we give them the system, which doesn't require installation because it's just a C# like application. So they just run it. Their data is already loaded. They interact with the system on their own. They're allowed to explore it for like 3 or 4 minutes until they're done. And then they close it, play the game again. We record this. That's it.
Okay, and was there anything that surprised you about how the behavior changed, maybe from session 1 or session 2, or in general?
I mean, one thing that was surprising was, because that's something that people ask, is like, what did you tell people about the study? Maybe you encouraged them to be prosocial, so they're trying to please you, right? Because that happens in studies. But one surprising thing was there was a guy who was so difficult as a participant because like they were difficult to schedule. They were a bit close to being toxic sometimes in the first session. And then when the second session came around, they went through the system, show what they did, and they went like, do I have to actually improve this? Do I have to increase these points? And I said, no, you can do whatever you want. He's like, good, because I don't care. And then he doubled his points.
Okay.
Yeah, and he even played competitively. There were actually people who chose competitive games or ranked play to actually do the study.
Okay.
So that also shows that you can actually be prosocial even when you care about performance, which is so surprising to me.
Yeah, okay, interesting. And one thing that you also talked about a lot in your talk was the importance of self-reflection.
Yes.
Can you touch upon that a little bit?
Yeah, so I was reading about like how people adopt new behaviors, and there's a ton of theories about how they do this and what motivates them to do this or what triggers this new behavior. And I found like previous research on self-reflection, especially in games, where they showed people what they did before. And I went, what about like doing this for just prosocial interaction? Like what about showing them people this and letting them explore their previous session? Maybe they can learn from this. And I just found this such an important factor. Like when we asked people, like, was this important to you? Like the self-reflection part, was it actually important to you? And they went, yes, like, because I learned new things to be prosocial. I learned what others find prosocial, right? Because to me, it might be just encouraging you on voice chat. But to somebody else, it might be a specific, super weird interaction on Overwatch that is almost like a meme that just makes people laugh and makes them happy. So we saw a lot of those, and that's what self-reflection brought about. Like everybody's minds basically came together, created this list of prosocial actions, and people were able to learn them.
Yeah. Okay, then kind of wrapping up, where do you see Prometheas go from here? Or what do you hope from it in the future?
I really, like when I first did this, I made it for myself, right? Because I just approach studies this way. I'm like, this is what I would want.
Yeah.
I would want games to encourage you to be prosocial, to be happy. Apparently, that's something that games don't do, which is sad. And I hope that at some point somebody reaches out and goes, hey, like, we're thinking about implementing this in a real game. Like, can we like get some advice, or can we actually do this? Even if they don't like ever talk to me and they just do it, like I would be so happy.
Yeah.
Like I want to see this in real life. I want people to just enjoy games again rather than just be prosocial or like be negative or just have no interaction at all. Like there's so much research that tells you that to people, no interaction is the positive.
Yeah.
Like nothing happening socially, nobody talking to each other is what they consider positive, because everything else is toxicity.
Yeah.
So I want to change that, and I hope somebody does one day.
Great. Thank you so much for the interview.
Oh, thank you for having me.